We thought uniting Africa would have been difficult, but here comes one man, the torchbearer, the freedom fighter, who has stood up on the continent of Africa and blowing the trumpet of freedom, trumpet of unity, of togetherness on the African continent. All people from all walks of life have heard this, and we are all in support, and we are all marching forward, and we are all grabbing this unity, and we are ready to fight.
The questions that my generations are asking are the following. If I may summarize, it is not understanding how Africa, with so many riches on our soil, with a generous nature of water, abundant sunshine. Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a hungry continent. And how is it that we, as heads of state, travel the world begging? These are questions we are asking ourselves, and for which we have no answers so far. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope these relationships can be the best to provide a better future for our peoples. My generation also asks me to say that due to this poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean, but soon they will not cross because they will come to our palaces to seek their daily sustenance. As for Burkina Faso, today we have been facing for more than 8 years the most barbaric, the most violent form of neocolonialism, of imperialism. The slavery that they still tend to impose on us. Our predecessors taught us one thing well. The slave who is not capable of assuming his revolt does not deserve pity for his fate. We do not pity ourselves, and we do not ask anyone to pity us. The Burkinabe people have decided to fight against the terrorists in order to revive their development. In this struggle, brave peoples, courageous populations have committed to taking up arms against terrorism. Those whom we have affectionately called the VDP, the volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists label these VDP as militias and all sorts of things. It's disappointing because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their homeland, they are called patriots. Our grandfathers were deported to save Europe. It was not with their consent, against their will. And well, upon their return, we remember well that in Traore, when they wanted to claim their basic rights, they were massacred. So it doesn't matter then. When we, the people, decide to defend ourselves, we are labeled as a militia. But that is not the problem. The problem is seeing African heads of state who bring nothing to these people who are fighting, but who sing the same tune as the imperialists by labeling us as a militia, by calling us people who do not respect human rights. What human rights are we talking about? We are outraged by this, and it is shameful. We, African heads of state, must stop behaving like puppets that dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. Yesterday, President Vladimir Putin announced the sending of grains to Africa. We are very pleased. We thank him for that. But also, it is a message sent to our African heads of state, because at the next forum, we should not come here without having ensured for those who do not know war, the food self-sufficiency of our peoples. We must learn from the experience of those who have already achieved this in Africa, build good relationships here, and foster better relations with the Russian Federation to meet the needs of our populations. I may not be long, the allotted time is very short. We are obliged to stop at some point, but I would like to conclude by saying that we must pay tribute to our peoples who are fighting.
I think it is about time that if we are not part of this movement, Africa's unity, to fight for its own, for what belongs to Africa and for the people of Africa. I think it is time for you to come on board, for all of us to fight in unison, achieving a purpose not just for us, but a purpose for generations to come. It is about time for us to renew our mind and our future, that we will all come together and fight for our own, so that we can also celebrate our achievement together. Let us all rise up as Africans and support this torchbearer, African togetherness, and resisting our oppressors. And this is all what we have been waiting for all of these years. And personally, I am so glad, I am so fortunate to be alive on a day or in time like this. So, all the people of Africa, it is about time, for our resources have been taken for all of these years, and they are not stopping. For the African continent, the people of Africa, we have been told a lie. For the people of Africa, our strength, our understanding, and what that belongs to us have been taken away. But it is not too late of a time. We can always go back. We can always renew ourselves. We can always refresh this. We can go back to factory setting to claim what is ours. So we are calling for your support, that you will come together, that we will be able to resist anything that would want to oppress us, because we will not also sit for another wound to be created on the African continent. But there have been many wounds that have been created by our oppressors. But we won't sit this time around for another wound to be created. That is why we call for support from each and every one of us, from everywhere you are on the continent of Africa or even beyond. We call for your support, that when the need arises, we want you to rise and come, and let's fight this. Let's move in one accord to achieve what belongs to us together. And we always would want to praise Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso for being the torchbearer of this. We all thought uniting Africa would have been difficult, but on the street of Accra, London, France, Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, on the street of South Africa, people moved in their numbers, and even other countries that I have not been able to mention, people moved in their numbers in support of this great unity, of this great recognition of ourselves. And let us all move. Let us all move to support Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso and the Sahel nations to achieve this for us and to gain this freedom, because we have yearned for this freedom for a very long time. Let us move and achieve this together.